Yep.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Star East News Desk. I'm Jennifer Bonin, the CEO and founder of Pink Lion. I'm here today with another great interview from Aspire. I want to introduce Yannicki from Aspire Systems. He is the Vice President and Head of the Testing Practice. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been great to be part of the News Desk, STAREAST. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Now, tell us where you're based in the world right now. Why don't you let us know where you're coming live from?
Absolutely. I'm based out of India, so I'm right now in India.
Perfect. And let's get into some of the things that you're seeing, because I know our viewers who are watching these News Desk interviews want to get some insights from our folks around the world and what they're seeing. What would you say are some of the common challenges that your customers are experiencing in dealing with the modern day applications that we have today out in the world?
Sure. So Aspire as a company, if you look at, we have worked with more than almost 1,000 customers over the last 20 years. And we could clearly see the shift in the industry towards the software engineering approach, and which is basically bringing out these challenges for testing. So to highlight some of those challenges, test automation in an agile-based environment is something that we have seen as a very common challenge that many customers go through, because in agile, it becomes difficult to bring in test automation because you're already confined to 2 or 3 weeks of a sprint, and you're trying to produce the results of that, and bringing in automation along with that brings in a lot of challenges. And you need to balance out the regular testing you do versus the automation efforts as well. The other one is around today's modern applications pretty much have a multi-layered architecture, like the likes of microservices-based architecture. So there are more than one levels of automation you may have to do. It's not just the UI, but there is also an API layer. There is a mobile layer to be automated. So you need to take a holistic approach to automate all these layers together. So not just the UI will cut out for you. The other one is testing on a wide range of mobile devices. Today, almost all the applications provide some sort of a mobile access as well. Now, there could be different mobile devices where your application is expected to be used. Now, the challenge is, how do I test it with such a wide range of devices, and also try to have a faster turnaround time, because particularly in Agile, I need to ensure quickly that my application is still working well across a wide range of devices. So testing with a wide range of devices and with a faster turnaround time, so that's a very tough thing to manage. And the other one is the non-functional testing, which is dealing with the performance, the security related aspects of the application. So those also takes a lot of importance with the current application, because at the end of the day, while you may build a great application, it has to be reliable, it has to be able to service your customers without glitches, right? So that becomes a key one. And the last challenge that I foresee is to kind of handle all these challenges. Many customers end up with a wide range of tools. They use like a half a dozen tools, which is a nightmare from an operational perspective and maintenance perspective, because having all these tools talk among them and then being able to move around and get the reports in a consolidated fashion is a big challenge. So those are some of the things that we have seen in the recent times.
No, that totally makes sense, right? I mean, the complexity. So you mentioned complexity of devices, complexity of platforms, right? That's huge. Tool complexity, right? Lots of tools you're trying to integrate, work with, get information out of. And then I heard, just speed and scale, being able to scale your efforts and get to market faster and get the speed that your organization's demanding and desiring out of modern day applications and systems. So huge challenges. Now, knowing what some of those challenges are, what are some of the innovations that Aspire is providing to help customers solve those challenges you just mentioned?
Absolutely, yeah. So, so from Aspire, the first thing we have done is we have a very unique methodology of how we approach a testing engagement. So we call that as hyper testing. So that's a very unique approach that we have. It's basically an agile and unified approach towards how we design and execute a test strategy that can cover the end-to-end testing of all the application layers we just talked about, as well as the non-functional requirements like your performance, load, availability. And we do this by leveraging the best of the breed tools, pretty much spanning across both cloud as well as open source, which means it will result in a very low total cost of ownership for our customers. At the same time, can yield a very high return on investment. Right? So to enable this hyper testing approach, what we have done is we have fully integrated uh, a seamless framework. We call it as AFTA, AFTA. It's Aspire Framework for Test Automation. And what it does, it kind of covers the end-to-end testing needs, covering both the functional and non-functional, and more importantly, with the support for CI/CD integration, which makes Agile much more easier one to complement. And this drastically reduces the complexity for our customers from switching across multiple tools and frameworks and reports. Right? So that's something that we have done. And we also, what we have done is take the testing completely on cloud. So we have designed our testing methodology to operate 100% on the cloud directly. And this allows us to meet on-demand requirements. At the same time, it helps us significantly cut down the infrastructure cost for our customers, which means basically, for example, we can instantly run thousands of browsers and mobile devices right on the cloud at a fraction of cost. Now, the other innovation lately we have done is what we call the robotic arm 2.0. So it's a recent innovation where it is specifically designed to address retail customers in performing automated testing for the POS terminals. So there is typically in an POS environment, you have the point of sale where you have the software to take care of billing and adding of the products and so on. And there is another piece to it which deals with your transactions, which could be a card-based transaction through a swipe or a chip or a tap. Now, what we have done is typical automation takes care of the software part of it, but then that's not complete because you need to ensure the transaction also goes through, which means there is a manual activity required to actually use a card, a physical card, to do the physical transaction. Now, we wanted to take the automation to 100%. So we kind of built a robotic arm which is integrated with the automation suite. So basically, the automation suite will perform the testing till the point of transaction, and further on, the robotic arm takes care of actually doing the card swipe and tap and so on. That way, we get 100% output of the testing. So those are some of the things we have done to take care of the challenges prevailing.
That's great. I mean, what a great innovation that you have. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Now let's, so next piece. So obviously you've got the robotic piece, you've got some of the cloud infrastructure piece. Now, what do you think about in terms of, we hear a lot around AI and machine learning and the impact of that to the automation space. Can you tell me a little bit about your perspective on AI and machine learning in regards to test automation and where you see that right now?
Sure. So that's an interesting question, and it's given that the AI ML is absolutely going to play a vital role in almost all the fields, and test automation will also stand to gain a lot from the AI and ML implementations. Now, in Aspire, last year we released the latest version of AFTA, we call 3.0, and the primary focus of this release is to enable AFTA with a set of AI ML features that makes this framework a much more powerful one. And we concentrated on two main areas related to implementing the AI ML, that is around the productivity and the accuracy of testing. So for example, we have built capabilities within the framework that can drastically reduce false positives in automation results, thereby increasing the accuracy of test results. So typically you have a lot of automation done, but then the results of the automation sometimes will have issues that are not 100% related to purely on the application or a bug, but it could be due to external factors like due to a script issue or some external failures happening, internet going down. Now, the idea is to differentiate genuine application issues from the rest of the not so genuine cases. So that's what we have tried to do. Similarly, we have built capabilities to cut down significant manual efforts towards activities like script maintenance, issue verification, and categorization. Now, we are seeing that these set of AI ML features that we have done is resulting in almost 30% to 50% increase in productivity of our teams, which basically transforms to cost savings for our customers. So
Wonderful.
that's where we have taken care of the AI ML part.
That's amazing. Those are great strategies. Now, last question before we end. The time always goes so fast in these interviews. But for the folks watching out there, can you name any specific areas that in the near future where you think will get attention for testing? Some of the new up and coming things that we're going to hear about in the near future around testing, or specific areas of interest to your clients, customers, or other folks?
Absolutely. Yeah. So while we talk about end-to-end testing is required to produce a high-quality software, so from our experience, particularly the recent experience, we find that performance engineering is going to play an extremely important role in the overall success of the companies. Particularly with the current COVID situation, there is a general increase in the load of the systems as more and more people are switching to online. A good example would be one of our US-based customer from the education industry. They are experiencing 10x times more load than what they typically receive. And of course, it's because of the current lockdown and more things happening over from home. So a lot of activities have increased. But in this case, we are fortunate enough to work along with this customer at the right time to plan and take care of the load and performance testing, so that we had the system fully ready to service this multifold increase in load. So we strongly feel different segment will go through varying degrees of increase in load, but the key is for them to be prepared to handle it successfully.
Wonderful. Great strategy. And I think applicable, like you said, to a lot of companies out there experiencing increased load and stress on all the systems, right? People are utilizing them more bandwidth from online usage, not accessing from a single location, but distributed locations now. So great strategy. This always goes so fast. Thank you for being here on the news desk. One last fun topic. What are you doing to stay busy? Because I have heard, even though you're in India, you guys also are on shelter in place and stay in your homes for the last several weeks, right?
Absolutely, yes. In fact, in India, today is almost the 38th day of lockdown, and we are expecting a few more days for the lockdown to continue. So it's been a tough time initially, but then yes, I do take this opportunity to spend a lot of time with my kids, and also make use of this time to spend in reading some of those books that I've always wanted to read over. So that's how I'm keeping myself busy.
Oh, good. Well, enjoy the time with your kids. Enjoy reading the books. Thank you so much for being here with us on the news desk. Now, does Aspire have a booth in the virtual booth area at STAREAST?
Absolutely, yes, we do have, and we are keenly looking forward to the event.
Perfect.
It's the first time, so they're very glad.
Wonderful. Everyone check them out in the virtual booth and check out these interviews, but make sure if you're attending STAREAST to check out the virtual booth and Aspire. This was a great conversation. Thank you for joining us on the news desk, and we look forward to seeing you again on another news desk segment in the future.
Thank you, Jennifer. Happy to be in this part of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.